My name is Chad Frank. Tonight is a public hearing for the State Community Development Block Grant, which the City of Connersville applied for through the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. Tonight, Victoria Beckert is going to run the meeting. I'm actually going to leave. This is a good problem. I need to open the hearing, and then I gotta go make more copies. So we have copies for everyone tonight before you leave. So I will be gone. I'll go make some copies at City Hall, and I will be right back while Victoria's running the meeting. If you have any questions, she's the expert. She can answer everything for you. She's going to be administering the grant for us. So, Victoria.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is awesome. So my name is Victoria Becker. I work with Administrative Resources Association. We're out of Columbus, Indiana. We are working with the city on applying for a grant through the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs for an owner-occupied rehab program. So tonight, this is a required public hearing, so we are recording it. I'm going to read some required language that was in the legal ad in the newspaper. And then after that, we can dive into what the process looks like and what we'll need from you from this point forward. So on or about August 27th, 2021, the City of Connersville intends to apply to the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs for a grant from the State Community Development Block Grant Program. This program is funded by Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended. These funds are to be used for a community development project which includes housing owner-occupied rehab program with the following activities: rehabilitation of scattered owner-occupied homes within the City of Connersville. The total amount of CDBG funds to be requested is $250,000. The amount of CDBG funds proposed to be used for activities that will benefit low to moderate income persons is approximately $240,000. The applicant also proposed to expend an estimated $25,000 in non-CDBG funds on the project. The non-CDBG funds will be derived from the City of Connersville's general fund. So the purpose of this is to provide you an opportunity to express your views on the proposed federally funded CDBG project. I do have to point out in the newspaper, there was actually a spot in this legal ad that mentioned the City of Lawrenceburg instead of Connersville. So I'm making note on record tonight that it actually is for Connersville, not Lawrenceburg. So obviously you guys got that, you're all here. Okay, with that being said, like I said, the city's applying for $250,000. You have a program brochure in front of you. If not, we're making some copies, so just bear with us. So this program would be for improvements to owner-occupied homes within the city limits of Connersville. There are specific things that the funding agency will fund this time. So anything not on this list, unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to look at doing as far as repairs to your home. So roof replacement, ADA accessibility up to the threshold of the home. So if you needed a ramp or if you have some deteriorated steps, we could look at redoing those to help you get in the home better. HVAC replacement, lighting and electrical replacement, and water heater replacement. We're looking at up to $15,000 per home as far as award amount. To be eligible, you do have to be a single-family owner-occupied home. Your home must be on a permanent foundation. Most mobile homes are not eligible, but if you do have one, there are some criteria that would qualify you. If it's on a permanent foundation, you do own the land that it's on, and there is a minimum square footage of, I believe, 1,200 square feet. Your home does have to be insured. So one situation where that wouldn't be required is if you needed roof replacement and you told us that your insurance agent won't insure the home because you need a new roof. If we have documentation of that and you agree moving forward in the process, you would get homeowner's insurance. Once the roof is replaced, then we'd be able to look at your application. There are some income guidelines, so the middle of this brochure basically spells those out. Those are HUD's annual income limits that they are set every year. So for a one-person household, the maximum gross income would be $37,450. Two people is $42,800. Three is $48,150. Four is $53,450, and so on. Anybody need further numbers? What we will do, once we receive your applications, we'll plug them into a database and score them out. So if you're an elderly household, you would receive 2 points, and that is actually 55 or older. 2 points for a disabled household. 2 points for a female head of household. And then you'll see there are some points awarded for AMI percentage. What that stands for is area median income. So basically, the lower your income, the more points you're going to get. Our database will calculate that number out for us. So what we're asking from you at this time, most of you have applications or we're working on getting some to you. It's a simple 3-page application. If you can get that turned into us this week, if at all possible, you're welcome to turn them in tonight, or you can drop them off at the mayor's office during their hours this week. The application to the state I will be submitting on Thursday this week, so it would be nice to show all of the interest in the program. This alone is going to be great to show them. I've done this for about 15 years and I've never had this many people come to a public hearing, so thank you all so much. So once you turn in your applications, it's going to be a waiting game for all of us. I know everybody gets anxious to hear about what repairs are going to get done. But basically the state will take about 60 days to get back with us and let us know if the city is funded or not. If they are funded, what we'll do is look in our database, start reaching out to you to complete your files. So we'll be requesting proof of income, social security statements, verification of employment, proof of ownership on the home, so a copy of your deed, mortgage statement that's recent to show that you're up to date on your mortgage, and then proof of homeowner's insurance, those sorts of things. So just know that if they're funded, we'll reach out to you. This isn't a whole lot of paperwork that we're asking right now, but there will be a lot coming. So once we get everything back and we have verified that your file is complete, we will have our home inspector come to your home and do an inspection. He's going to be looking at the list of eligible repairs. He will help kind of prioritize with you as far as cost goes, if it makes sense to bid out everything, if you need everything, and then prioritize when the bids come back in, or if maybe your roof is really big and he thinks it may take the full funding amount. He's awesome to work with, and he'll work with you closely on that process. From that standpoint, we take his scope of work that he creates and we actually have to send it to DNR, the Department of Natural Resources, to look at your home from a historic standpoint. So we want to make sure that the work that's being done is not destroying any historic value to your home or to any homes around you that may be historic, or if you're in a historic district. They usually take about 30 days to get back with us and approve the bidding on your home. The bidding process is about 2 weeks. So when the inspector's at your house looking at the needed repairs, I'll be working with the city to hold a contractor meeting to hopefully drum up some local interest for contractors. We don't let just anybody bid on these programs. We do ask for references, proof of insurance, workers' comp if it's applicable. So we do have a lot of criteria that we require in these programs. We have a couple of contractors that follow us from past programs we've done that may be from like the Columbus or Seymour area, so don't be alarmed if we do have some that aren't local. But again, the goal is to drum up some local interest in that process. So once we get the bids back in, I will review them along with the city for the lowest, most responsive bid. So it's not always the lowest bid. We really want to make sure that the work is done in a timely manner. I'll meet with you to sign contracts. And also this is a grant. However, there is a lien and restrictive covenant agreement that would be signed at the time of signing contracts, just basically stating that you're agreeing to live in, own, and insure your home for up to a 3-year period of time. So if you were to receive less than $5,000 in assistance, it would only be a 1-year lien. $5,000 to $10,000 is a 2-year lien, and then anything over $10,000 is 3 years. One thing that people usually ask me is if that is forgiven if the homeowner were to pass away, and yes, absolutely it would be. So I know that's a concern sometimes to leave that burden to family members, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. So after we sign contracts, we usually expect the contractor to start and complete the work within about 60 to 90 days. He is actually not paid anything until our inspector comes back to your home, verifies that all the work is done and that you're happy with it, and sign off on it. So that's another way that we kind of weed out contractors who are considered those fly-by-night contractors. So nothing is paid to them until project completion. The work is warranted for 1 year, so that would be any labor for 1 year. So you'll have your copy of your contract. Usually contractors will give you a business card so you can stick on your fridge to call with any issues. And then in addition to that, they'll give you any manufacturer warranties that you may have with like your roof and HVAC system. So with this process, with federal funding, nothing is ever quick. If the city is funded, we're probably looking at spring construction. So obviously you know what your home needs, and hopefully that helps in terms of timeline. We have a lot of people here tonight, so like I said, we're probably only going to have money for about 15 homes. So the scoring in the database will definitely come into play. And there may be some homes that don't use the full 15,000, which will allow the city to assist some additional ones too. But even if not everybody is assisted, we'll put you on a waiting list, and hopefully there will be some future programs, and we'd be able to tap into that as well. I think that's all I have as far as the process goes. Does anybody have any questions? Sure.
What is the income derived from when you use your advanced state tax that was filed, income from that?
Good question. So the only reason that we would use an income tax return for verification of income is if you're self-employed. Otherwise, we really want to see a current snapshot of what you're getting. So if you're employed, we have a form that your employer will fill out, or we can get paycheck stubs. If you're on Social Security, there's a letter that they send out like in November or December, a benefit statement letter. We'll want a copy of that because we want to see the gross amount, so before any deductions, and that letter has that. So we're always projecting forward as far as income goes.
Okay, but what if you had a year where there was a number of months you didn't work and there's just some months you are working?
So we project forward. So if you had a gap, what we would do is average it out, basically. We'd work one-on-one and get that information and basically take an average of it to get a yearly amount. Yes.
If you could repeat the question so the ones in the back can hear.
Sure. So she was asking, how do we verify income? She was asking specifically about providing tax returns. Any other questions? Yes.
I have custody of my granddaughter, my mother died, and she gets her mother survivor's benefits until she is 18 or finishes high school.
Okay. Okay. So she's asking as far as income goes, unearned income for a minor in the household, survivorship benefits, it sounds like. So if it will be done by the end of the year, it's probably not going to be until then when we really request more information from you. If it's before then, just remind me if we're working together and just tell me, that's ending at the end of this year, and then it may not be a factor by the time you're signing contracts. You're welcome. Yes.
What if you were to sell your house within that 3 years, what would be
Sure. So she's asking what would happen if the home is sold within the 3-year affordability period. So there would be a prorated payback required. So basically they take your full grant amount divided by the 36 months. Every month a little bit drops off of that. There is actually some language in there that says you can sell your house to an income eligible household. So just as you would be eligible for the program, if we can document that the new buyers are income eligible, then the lien would just carry with them for the remainder time. Yes.
I have for one disability, I don't know how you have it going on it, but I got 5 kids from 4 to 17, and only 4 of them are on Social Security income, but it's not my name. I mean, I'm their payee, but I'm never allowed to claim it because I said it's not really my money, it's in their name. How do I apply to put them on there?
Okay, so it sounds like you have minors in the household that receive income.
4 of them do, 1 does not.
Okay, so you're asking how do you document that since it's not specifically tagged to you? So we look at household income, so regardless of if you can claim them or not, if they're living there and they receive the income, then they would require that we count it.
Okay,
You mentioned points. We've got so many points to remember. Is there an average of points?
You mean as far as what we typically see for somebody we would award?
You said like 50 divided over, you got 2 points, and what were some of the other things that points for?
Sure. So she's just asking what you would get points for as far as the application goes. So 2 points for elderly, 2 points for disabled, 2 points for female head of household, and then there are 3 to 6 points depending on what your income is. So once we plug it into the database, if you look at your maximum gross income requirement per household, it's a percentage of that. So it's more of looking at where do you fall in terms of if you're a one-person household and you make $37,450, if somebody makes, say, $20,000 and another person makes $36,000, the person with the $20,000 would get more points, if that makes sense. You're welcome.
You have 2 small 2-bedroom houses with attached garage, home and garage. You have a small 2-bedroom home with unattached garage.
I'm glad you asked that. I had a phone call on that today, and I meant to bring that up. So it's, sure. So he's asking as far as an attached garage versus unattached garage, what would be eligible. So if we have an attached structure, an attached garage, they would let us do work on that. Really just the roof would be included. They won't let us do anything to any detached structures though, unfortunately. Yes.
what if your home is in, the deed reads it's in a life estate?
So she's asking if your deed reads that it's a life estate. So I've seen many of these, like a rights of survivorship, life estate, language. I've even seen deeds where the owner adds their daughter or son to it or another family member, and those are all eligible. Just know that we may ask for some additional documentation down the road. So whoever else is on it, we would just need to see proof that they do not live in the home. So a copy of their driver's license or insurance statement, anything that would show that they're not actually living there would be fine. Good questions. Anyone else? And I'll stick around. I know the mayor went to make some more application packets since we ran out. So if you have any questions that you're not comfortable asking in front of everybody, feel free to come up and we can discuss anything one-on-one.
Decisions made on whether we get the grant or not, that we did paper or that happens.
I'm sure it will be, yes, yeah. She was asking if it would be in the newspaper once the city finds out if they're funded or not. Anybody else? Well, thank you. If there's no other questions or comments, I'll officially close the public hearing. But like I said, I'll be up here for any questions. And then if for some reason you missed the sign-in sheet, please sign in before you leave. Thank you all.